Hi Capricorn, I hope you guys are doing really, really well. My name is Brian. I am your queer psychic bestie, and I have a reading for you guys today. This is going to be a monthly forecast for the sign of Capricorn. So, if you have Capricorn anywhere in your chart, maybe you vibe with Capricorns, you could be a cross watcher, whatever the case may be, this reading may resonate for you. As always, we're going to take what resonates and we're going to leave what doesn't. This is the internet. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you could do that through email or form submission on my website. Capricorn, we will be doing a Celtic cross for the month. Gives me the widest view of your month. We talk about pretty much everything. And we just sort of see where your guides want me to go, what they want to talk about, you know, the normal stuff. So let's get a few more cards out and then we will get into it. Thank you. One more, please. Thank you. Perfect. All right, Capricorn. Let's get into this. Bottom of the deck is your challenge. Represents what you're not seeing, what you're not looking at. We've got the Three of Wands, the Two of Wands, and the Eight of Wands. The Fool is here as well. Okay, so Capricorn, what I think is interesting is that your challenge for September, this is for September, by the way, your challenge is like making a move. So when we go from the Three of Wands to the Two of Wands, it's backwards. So it's like from 3 to 2. It shows that, you know, there's some hesitation here for you. For whatever reason, you know, whatever is going on in your world this month, you will hesitate a little bit here. The Eight of Wands is there as well. So I do think that Eight of Wands is like fast incoming communication. So it does feel like you will get your message out, or you will do what you need to do here, you know, exact your plan or whatever. But it feels like the point is that you're a little, it's like you're testing the waters a little bit here. I almost feel like there's some trepidation, you know, a little bit of like, do I, don't I, do I, don't I? So interesting. Let's get into this. So you start right away with the Ace of Pentacles. It did come out in the reverse, so I don't love the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. Oh, hold on, sorry. I left. There we go. I was wondering why it wasn't so bright. I didn't have a light on. The Ace of Pentacles in the reverse, it does make me feel like you feel as if you're maybe losing money right now. Ace of Pentacles in the reverse is like the loss of income. So as always, when we are talking about income, please do pay attention to your local government, where you are in the world, what's going on with the economy, where you are, because that's directly going to influence your own income and your own feelings of security, right? But you may find that you're maybe pouring some money out this month. Maybe you're trying to, again, there's like a feeling of a plan coming through, and whatever the plan is, it may require some extra funds from you. Your crossing card, okay, now I can kind of see where this is going. So your crossing card in the Celtic cross is either a help or a hindrance. The Five of Swords is a hindrance. It is self-sabotage. So Capricorn, what I think is really interesting is that there is a little bit here of be careful with retail therapy this month. It feels like some of you guys, you may lean towards buying yourself things when cycles are tough or when things aren't going well for you. You may be like, oh, I'm going to treat myself, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. And it feels like your guides are telling you to be a little careful with money going out this month. Okay. It necessarily, you know, it's money is so easy to go out, but so slow to come back in sometimes. So be aware of that. Okay. Also remember, money is an energy, as always. So remember that. But let's see what's going on. The Devil. Six of Swords in the reverse, Ten of Cups. Yeah, I think some of you guys are going to struggle this month. Ten of Wands is here, where things are going to feel a little out of whack for a little while, is what I'm hearing. And you may have a tendency to reach towards, like, consumerism for some comfort. And I feel like your guides are encouraging you to get to the bottom of this. You know, Six of Swords in the reverse is like moving on without the baggage. Why are we leaning into buying stuff? What are we getting from that like dopamine hit, that kick of whatever, that you're not getting from everything else, that you're not finding yourself able to give to yourself without purchasing something, right? Because it feels like, this is harsh how my guides are saying this, so please bear with me. There are vacancies in your life right now that you are filling with material things. Of course, you know, when we are talking about vacancies of the heart, maybe we're looking for a partner, maybe we're not feeling connected to community, we can lean into that sort of consumerism aspect of like, oh, let me get myself a fun thing, and that's okay here and there. But Capricorn, I think you're working so hard to build up your finances that it feels like this month, just be careful with how you're spending it, okay? In your headspace, you do have the Queen of Cups. I think you guys are also realizing that this is coming from a place of not feeling emotionally secure. You know, Queen of Cups in your headspace, Queen of Cups is emotional depth. It's like getting down into the nitty gritty of the emotions. And I feel like for some of you guys, you're aware that the way my guides are saying this to me is like you're placating yourself right now. I think you're aware that you're sort of like appeasing your own ego because you are a little scared to dive deep, a little nervous to get into the emotional aspect of it, the emotional outpouring that needs to happen here. I think you guys are also bottlers. That's been coming up a lot in these monthlies. Everyone's like bottling a lot this month for whatever reason. You have to let it out. You got to let it go. Yeah, Empress in reverse, Ace of Swords, and the King of Pentacles. I think some of you guys also need to have a harsher talk with yourself of like, if things are not going your way, why is that? Is there anything that you can do in your immediate vicinity to help yourself? Or, Empress in reverse, is this a lesson in I have to wait for things to align? You know, it's like the way my guides are giving this to me is like, let's say you're looking for a partner, but you're not on any dating apps and you're not leaving the house. Is this a moment where I really can do things to aid me? Or is it a moment of wait for it to show up? That's how this feels to me. You know, are you essentially taking the proper course of action here? Are you actually being asked to wait? Or are you just not doing what you know that you need to do here? In your physical world, you have the King of Swords. I would be very careful with, this is coming through as callousness this month. King of Swords can be very intellectual, but it can also be very harsh of an energy, Capricorn. So just be careful. You have the Tower here at the bottom as well. Like, you want to make sure that your defenses are not so high up that you start slashing at the people around you, right? King of Swords can be almost lawyerly, I describe him as. You know, and obviously kings and queens, gender and energy have no place with one another. This could be like literally, you could be any sort of gender expression that you want here, but it's a tough energy. It's like, why are you wearing that? You look stupid. You know, if someone says that to you, you're kind of like, oh, okay, I don't really want to be over here. And I think some of you guys have a tendency to get a little rough when things are not going your way. This is so funny how my guides are giving this to me. For those of you that are partnered, they're basically saying like you may end up on the couch if you're not careful. Okay, I'm being told to caution you heavily this month with the way you're speaking and how you're interacting with people. Nine of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles, and the Four of Cups. Yeah, it just feels like Capricorn, I feel like you are so focused on your goals in the physical world that sometimes you come across, again, as callous to other people. You know, I feel like with the Nine of Pentacles, the Seven of Pentacles, I don't have to remind you of this, Capricorn, but I'm going to anyway. Money is not the be all end all. You know, I think you are so focused on your goals, again, which is fine, but you have to remember that other things exist while we're working on our goals, right? Like we're not babies. We don't have an object permanence issue, right? We are aware that as I'm working on this goal, I also have other goals, but I also have other people are interacting with us when we're trying to go after our goals and live our lives, right? So I think some of you guys need to shift focus from being 100% on the goal to maybe a little bit of like, well, how am I interacting with the world as I go after this? This kind of makes sense with your challenge of like, there was some hesitation. I feel like the hesitation this month is almost a good hesitation of like, okay, I want to move forward, but I want to do it in a healthy way. I don't want to do it in a way that makes enemies, right? That's how this feels. In your past, you have the Seven of Pentacles. Again, Capricorn, you've been building. You're building, and you're really harnessing your passion and your energies this month, I'm hearing, which is great. That's a fabulous thing to do. But again, it's not the only thing to do, okay? I feel like some of you are very stubborn, very Capricorn of you, and you're very, like, once your mind is made up about something, you don't deviate from the course. And I feel like now this month is coming in to teach you how to deviate from the course. How can I change my plan of action, change my interactions here, and still remain on par for the course, but not come across as almost so, this is not the word I want to use, but it's the word my guides are giving me. Psychopath. You know, I think maybe some of your friends may call you this in jest, like, oh my God, you're a psycho. You know, but I think it's just because you literally are not seeing anything else here. Really big fear of failure coming through as well. Yeah. It's a mother wound. It comes from the maternal energy. When we have struggles, the reason I talk about this so much on my channel, and if you've watched me on when I was on TikTok or when I'm on Twitch, like, you know, I talk about this a lot, but the mother wound concerns our ability to feel worthy. Okay? The mother wound is the part of us, again, it doesn't have to be a mother specifically, that doesn't feel deserving. And right now, it feels like your fear of failure stems from a part of you that believes that you don't deserve success, that you haven't worked hard enough for it. There's major internalized capitalism here, okay? You don't have to earn success, Capricorn, okay? Even if I have a tiny little following here on my little corner of the internet, that's success for me, babe. Okay? But I also don't have to earn that. You know, I think that's what you guys are sort of misconstruing here, is like, being consistent at something is great. You know, being consistent on, as a tarot reader for so many years, has gotten me my community, my internet community, all these things. That's consistency. But like, just the idea of someone showing up and being like, hey, I'd love to interact with you, I don't have to earn that. You know, do you understand what I mean by that? You don't have to earn the deserving of it, if that makes sense here. You know, with that Nine of Cups, like, good things can happen to you and you can just revel in that. You're allowed to just have good things happen to you without needing to prove it, if that makes sense. This is a little bit of like a weird topic they have me talking about here. You know, I think you guys just need to extend yourself a little bit more grace here, a little bit more kindness. Because moving into the, I mean, it's going to cause you some indigestion here in the future because you have the devil. And I feel like this is the same thing we've been talking about coming back to haunt you. You know, I always tell my clients and my collectives and my friends that there is no prerequisite to worthiness. I think that's what we're really touching on here. You know, like maybe some people would say, like, if you're consistent, you deserve the outcome. But with the devil here, like, you don't have to prove that you're worthy of that outcome. Do you see what I mean? This is a very, like, nuanced conversation, Capricorn, that I would encourage you to really have with yourself and figure out for yourself, what does that mean? Like, what does the word deserving mean for me? And what does the word earning mean for me? You know, and worthy, what does that mean to me? Because they're different, right? I feel like some of you may get caught up in the semantics of the terms here, but it's just the guidance that's really just coming through here again is that, like, you don't have to prove that you deserve it, okay? Or that you're worthy of it. You know, if you think too, I could have one follower on here on YouTube and then I could have 1 million followers. Does that mean that I don't deserve a voice? That I don't deserve to put my readings out on the internet, to interact with the internet? No, you would say it doesn't matter just based off audience size at all. That's the point I think my guides are trying to make for you. You've got the Queen of Cups, the Hanged Man, and the King of Wands here. I think some of you guys also get caught up between, like, your emotions and your passion. I think you get misconstrued a little bit. When we grow up also in households that, with parents that don't have a good emotion wheel, we can get wires crossed, right? So, like, if your only emotion wheel is happy, sad, angry, they all kind of blur together, don't they? You know, passion is different than happiness. But if your wheel is only happy, passion falls into happy, and you're like, oh, well, it's the same thing. It's not. They're exclusive. I can't, you know, you'd be pressed to find someone, but let's say I could be passionate about something without being happy about it. You know, think about, like, the only thing I can really think of here, it's such a bad example, but like politics. You can be passionate about bad things and not be happy that they're happening. Do you understand what I mean? With the Queen of Cups here and the Hanged Man, I think you guys are just a little bit confused this month. That's really what this feels like. You know, it's disorientation because you are tackling these more nuanced conversations. Like I said earlier, there's so many moving parts to this conversation. And there are things that you might say to yourself and you may not even believe them. Give yourself time to expand your emotion wheel. Okay, this is not, and I think this is like at the core of why you need to work on the not doing retail therapy. Okay, because it's like that retail therapy isn't helping you expand that emotion wheel. It's just keeping you locked into that small little wheel, right? In order to maintain an understanding and a balance of our emotion and all of the different conversations and nuances of being human, we have to be able to identify and understand them. Okay? How you view yourself is the Nine of Cups. Capricorn, I don't mean to slam you guys here, but I think you are also you're aware that you're being a little bit, this is a really harsh word, and I really don't want to use it, but I'm hearing it, so I'm gonna say it. Gluttonous. I think this goes back to, again, some of you may have a spending problem here. Okay? Nine of Cups is usually happiness and wish fulfillment, but it can be overconsumption. And I think some of you guys, going off of what we are talking about here in the energy, I think some of you guys are aware that there's an overconsumption issue here, that we're sort of like, you know, buying our feelings. Yeah, Three of Wands and the Seven of Swords with the High Priestess. Because something else I'm going to say, Capricorn, here, and I'm not trying to freak you out. Some of you financially are going to have slow months. And it feels like some of you freak out when you have slow months or slow earnings, because there is that need to lean into that crutch of like, spending my money will make me happy. Will it? You know, with the Three of Wands here and the Seven of Swords. Also, this is, I'm really not trying to freak anyone out here, Capricorn. Be a little careful with like sneaky energy this month. It feels like there are some people that you may not necessarily trust around you right now. And I feel like with the High Priestess, you're being guided to be a little bit more careful with like who you're speaking to and like what you're speaking about. Okay? Because I feel like, again, if you're feeling this is like a really big confirmation for you, but like, I would agree with you that there's a little bit of sneakiness around you right now. Okay? It feels like there is a little bit of dishonesty, and I would tread that with grace. Okay? But I mean, your superpower is the Queen of Pentacles. You're very good at taking care of yourself. You know, Queen of Pentacles, Capricorn energy, that's like home for you. Queen of Pentacles is also a mom card. You could be a mother. You know, but with the Queen of Pentacles here in your superpower, I think you're very good at caring for yourself. Like I said, you're good for caring for others and nurturing. Like a big nurture aspect is coming through. Like you're very nurturing as a person, but you've got to start figuring out how to do that on a deeper emotional level. Okay, some of you guys, when you have that need to like spend your money or like buy yourself something nice, I would encourage you guys to freeze time, take a step back, and ask yourself, because this is a reparenting moment. Okay? When you're like, I need to retail therapy. What do I actually need right now? What's actually, if I was a mother saying this to myself, or parent, guardian, a them, there, as I call myself sometimes, what would I say to me? What do I actually need to hear? Because you do need something, Capricorn, in that moment. It's not retail therapy, though. No. Okay. Yep. Knight of Pentacles, Seven of Wands, and Temperance. I mean, girlies, I don't know. You're being very called to tighten the purse strings this month, to be very careful with the spending. Okay? Even with this Knight of Pentacles, the Seven of Wands, and Temperance, some of you also are looking to leave a job or like move away from a job. Take your time. Okay, I don't know why this is coming through, but Capricorn, you're gonna need a lot of patience and a lot of, I'm also hearing persistence this month, okay? Whether or not that's getting your resume out there, whether or not that's going out of your comfort zone to find something, you're really gonna need to bide your time here, okay? But also, I don't know why my guides are giving this to me. Don't pick fights you don't have to. Like I said, that came through a little bit in the beginning, too. Be careful. You're a little defiant this month. I don't know why. But you're being cautioned really heavily with it, okay? Your hope is the Nine of Wands, and your fear, I mean. This is a hope-fear spot. Nine of Wands for me is a fear. I think a lot of why you're coming across as a little defiant, a little argumentative here, is that you're afraid that it feels like no one is going to stick up for you. Maybe you're not going to stick up for yourself, but there's a very big difference between speaking up for yourself and defending yourself and like being mean. I think that's something that's going to come up for you this month. Yeah, Ace of Wands, Eight of Cups, and the Star. It feels like some of you guys are going to be walking towards some sort of passion project here. Um, I'm not getting walk away with the Eight of Cups, which is weird because normally it is a walk away card, but I'm almost getting walk away and walk towards. Like that's how my guides are giving this to me. Like leave that, walk that way. And it feels like as you like the Star, Eight of Cups to Ace of Wands is you leaving behind something that is not meant for you anymore and walking towards where your passion is a light, where your passion is speaking to you, where you actually want to go. Okay, but again, it feels like this is maybe why you are on such the defense, because you don't want someone to insult this or like make a comment about this. Babe, other people don't have a right to comment on this. You know, I used to be a hairdresser. People commented when I became a hairdresser. People commented when I left hairdressing. Didn't stop me either way, both times. Okay, I think that you guys need to be stable, strong, and persevere in yourself, so much so to a point that people's wayward comments, they don't hurt you like that. They don't even shake you. Okay, you have to be so secure in who you are and yourself that someone being like, oh really, like that's the direction you want to walk, you're just kind of like, yeah, it is. What are they gonna do, argue with you over your own life choices? That's a bit sad if they did. Okay, be aware. It's like being firm in who you are in yourself is the key here. Because your outcome is the Six of Swords. Babe, you're moving on. Moving on up in the world. Six of Swords is like literally sailing across the river and heading out. You're doing whatever you need to do here. You know, and I think that's the nice part about this reading is that you're getting to your goal, but this reading feels like a reminder to just be a bit kinder along the way. Okay, you've got the King of Cups, the Hierophant, and the Lovers. So for a lot of you, there's some sort of like long-term commitment here. This could be a marriage here at the end of this. You know, but you are giving to yourself in such a profound way and getting your goal. And I feel like the only thing here that's showing up is your guides trying to remind you that you can get to a goal without having to be cutthroat about it. Right? We don't have to sit in that King and Queen of Swords energy to get to a goal. We can get to our goal in that King of Cups energy and be emotionally present and emotionally stable and not need to bite someone's head off when they get close to us, right? All right, let's get you guys an oracle card. I'm just cleaning up my workspace because I have a tendency to be a little bit messy. All right, cool. The oracle deck I'm using is the Angelarium. This is my favorite oracle deck to date. I use it all the time. If you've watched any video of mine, you've seen this deck in action. So, Capricorn. Can I get advice for Capricorn for September, please? All right. What's the advice for Capricorn, please? Advice for Capricorn, please. Thank you. You guys have Rahab, Angel of the Deep. Interesting. This card is number 39 for those of us into numerology. Okay. This card may be a sign that there is something worth holding on to, regardless of the pain it causes. Accepting pain and punishment can be a lonely experience, but that is the true path of the faithful. Take comfort in knowing it is a well-trodden road, even if you walk it alone. Capricorn, this is you. I don't view this as a bad reading. Let me say that. I think that you guys are going in a really positive direction here. I think this is just a reminder to check in with yourself, how you're showing up for yourself, the habits you've created for yourself, and how you're interacting with the larger world as you're reaching that goal, okay? that is your reading, Capricorn. That is your September monthly forecast. All right. If this reading resonates with you, or my reading style happens to resonate with you, do consider liking and subscribing. We are on the road to 200 subscribers, which is great. Capricorn, if you would like to interact with me on a live basis, I do go live 3 days a week on Twitch. You can find me Wednesday and Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. EST, as well as Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. EST. So I leave you guys with this. I hope you guys have a fabulous morning, afternoon, night, day, weekend, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world. I hope to see you over on Twitch, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye!